You ever go on Facebook Marketplace and you look at these ATC 70s for sale and you see them for $2,500, $3,000, $3,500? These ones that are customized, got the 140 pit bike motors in them. Like, they're going for like some crazy money. I have this little 81 70 that we built for my daughter a couple years ago, the pink Palamino. It's got a 110 pit bike motor in it. We rattle can the frame. You know, we splurged on a seat. We got an ape tank for it, but I spray painted the wheels and the frame, and I didn't get anything too special. Got some parts from Spangler's, but do I have $3,000 in this? I honestly can't remember. But I think what we might do is see what this is all about. Do these things really cost that much money? So I'm going to build 3 custom 70s. One for me, one for my son Bennett, one for my wife. And they're all going to be a little bit different. Some are going to be a little fancier than the rest. And we are going to keep track of what things cost and find out what's really at the bottom of this. But it all starts with getting the machines together. So here's what we're going to do. So that was only a little sketchy. I didn't strap this tight. I was relying on some weight to hang it out so it wasn't rubbing right up against the old bucket. But this is what appears to be a 1981 ATC 70, but it is not. Frame and motor are 1985. As we discovered when we were building the pink Palamino. What is the pink Palamino? What am I talking about? This is the pink Palamino. In finishing up the pink Palamino, getting it ready for Trike Fest 2023, I needed to get the motor mount bolts out of that 81 that was on the shelf, and in harvesting some parts off that, I discovered that was not a real 81. It is an 85. So, in order to have one of each model year and color, and technically the pink Palamino is an 81 based on frame number, but not motor, obviously. That's a 110 motor. But because we needed one of each model year and color, we had to source another 1981. So this is a true 1981 from my pal Vinny Staffa. It needs some love. What we're going to do is put this side by side with the fake 81 and make a true 81 out of it and make it look as nice as possible. And then we're going to take the 85 frame and carcass at that point and turn it into something special. And since we're doing something special on that, we're going to do something special on this, which I believe is a 78 frame. And I got some parts. I got an axle here somewhere. And since we're doing that, we're also going to pull this guy in the shop, which is another 81 frame. So you're saying, well, you had an 81 frame. You could have just swapped the frames out. But that would have been cheating because the motor still wasn't an 81 motor. And we want to be accurate to the best of our abilities. So, we find ourselves here doing a little Admiral Swappington style work and building 3 more custom ATC 70s. One for Palin, one for my wife, Palin's mom, and one for my son Bennett, who is over at the house now. But this was all his idea. to do a custom 70. Well, I guess maybe it was my idea too. Back before the ATC 70 shelf, when I had those all lined up for my event back in 2022, he took a liking to my 85, which is one of my nicer 70s. And it's still got the dimples on the tires. And I said, why don't we get a different one running and operable for you? And he said, yeah, let's do that. I said, you know what we could do? We could make a custom one. And we acquired two 110 motors and 2 tanks and extra fenders, and Palin jumped the line because she was going to Trike Fest with me in 2023. So she cut the line. So we're going to make it up to Bennett. And I'll tell you more how that is going to happen coming up. Stay tuned. Okay. So we've staged ourselves in here. We've got the 85 that is dressed as an 81 sitting here. And we've got the 81 that's in pretty sad shape over here. So what we're going to do is clean this up. At a very minimum, we're going to swap the rear fenders and seat from that one to what's on this one, because these are in better shape. I'll have to get a 81 decal ordered. I'm going to pull the tires and rims off this because nothing's rolling. I've got a set of nicely restored rims with Scorpion tires on them that I brought from Gordon Spangler maybe a year or so ago. And I might just pop those on this so it rolls and can get out of the way. But I'll probably take the rims and the tires off these rims and have them powder coated, and maybe put a set of Serwa tires on that I have on this guy, or maybe put the Serwa tires on those powder coated rims. And I've got a Christmas special up there that doesn't have original tires on it. Maybe do that. We'll see. We got options. But regardless, this thing's going to get torn down and join the ranks of these as bare frames. And then Bennett and I will do some cutting and some welding and go from there. But let's see how nice we can make this 81 look in the next hour or two. Okay, we are torn down. It's a different day. But we got that torn down. We got this one pieced back together, but you'll notice it's still on dollies in the back because the rear drum is locked up so it doesn't roll. I ended up putting a Serwa tank that I had on it. But I hate the decal. It's not OEM and correct, so we're going to order up some decals from Bruce. Get one for the fender. But before I commit to everything and put this back on the shelf, I will take the axle out of it and get that freed up so it rolls, and maybe we'll try to get it running. But I don't want to get sidetracked on the 370 builds we got going on. So I'll organize these parts. Right now we're at the point where I've got to cut that frame and I've got to cut that frame. This is the 81 that's going to be my wife's. But Bennett and I are going to weld in our 3-inch extensions. We've got them from TJ Smith right here. So we'll weld those in because we're running 8 tanks, so we need to extend ours. My wife's going to run a bubble tank, so she doesn't need to extend hers. I don't know if moving to the 140 motors that me and my son are putting in ours, I don't know if that would have required us to stretch the frame or not, but we're going to have a little stretch. But right now we've switched to preparation mode where we've been acquiring parts. We'll have to cut and do a couple things to these before we send them off to powder. But I've got a bunch of stuff out here that I wanted to talk about. I've got 2 front end suspension kits. One with black forks, one with blue forks. The black forks are going to be for Bennett's machine. These came from Jacob Rowe. He's up in Michigan, I believe. Yep, up in Michigan. I opted to go with him partly due to availability. There's another supplier out there that didn't have forks in yet, and I wanted them sooner than later. And then I got a bunch of stuff here from Spangler's. So I've done 2 orders with Spangler's. I took advantage of a Labor Day 10% discount. So the first order included the motors. So you're wondering, how do these things add up so quickly? $2,600 here, $675 per fork set there. So $1,350, $2,600. I ordered another round of stuff from Spangler's. That was about $800 worth of stuff. I'm going to have to order another 8 tank for mine. I ordered rims and tires for mine. As we get things more finalized, I'll do a breakdown just so we know everything that went into these. Because, when you look at these prices on Marketplace, and you're like, man, how can they be asking so much? They might even be into it more. These guys that are putting like full suspension kits in their machines, it really adds up. But we're at the point now where I've got the pink Palamino out because I want to figure out, there's some things I want to do to this. This was what I told my family I consider my rough draft, because there's things about this that I'm not super happy with. It was because it was my first time. So I really rushed the wiring harness side of things, where I've got the key switch. Do you need the key switch? No, you could delete that and just leave it available to start full time. I like the idea of the switch. Do I want to put it through here? Maybe. I see some guys have put them in a plate up there, but with this setup, I couldn't get to that. I want to figure out where I can put a key. I notice the tank is doing some yucky yuck there. I don't know if that's my fault or if that's just dirt or if that'll wipe away or what's causing that to discolor. I hate this. I can't get it up here because I didn't have enough room with the perch that I picked. I just want to figure out some better ways to do things. Before it's all said and done, we're going to strip this back down and have the frame and forks powder coated so it's more durable. Going to get new grips because these have not stood the test of time. They don't even cinch down tight. So this will get a freshen up while we do all this. I think that's where we're going to leave it for today. We've set the stage. We've done some teardown. Hopefully we've piqued your interest, so you'll come back for the next couple videos on this. We've definitely got a plan for each build, and it's going to be exciting. So we're going to see if my welding techniques are better than the last time in the upcoming videos. That's about it. Stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time.